Hello everybody and welcome back to Mining Modern. I'm Corbin Hosler as always with Cool Stuff Inc. And this deck, you might notice, it's got quite a few cards over here in the 1-drop spot. That's because we are playing 1-drop Tribal. It's a burn deck, but it's a very unique burn deck here. You see some cards you wouldn't necessarily see in other lists, like Seal of Fire. This list 5-0'd recently in the hands of M. Hayashi, a well-known Magic Online grinder, and this is pretty neat. To think that a deck like this at this point in Modern's lifetime can put up a 5-0 finish in a league is incredible. Look at all of these 1-drops. So we've got some creatures, your Swiftspears, your Soul-Scar Mages. These all make sense, right? Your Bomat Couriers, that's not a bad one. You can get in there with it immediately, and then later you can pitch your hand to get new cards with the Bomat. We've got Abbot of Keral Keeps, our other creature here. This is a really neat one. Now, this does break the rule. This is both not a 1-drop, and unlike Light Up the Stage, it can even be cast for 1 mana. We're going to have to pay 2 for it, but it will always reveal something off the deck. We can play for 1 mana, making it a very strong turn 3 play if you have 3 mana. Then we have all the burn you could ever want. You got your Burst Lightning, Firebolt, that's got flashback. Lava Dart, that's got flashback. We can even play some prowess action here. And 20 lands. So onto the sideboard. Here's where we get a little interesting. We can play Jegantha. No card in your starting deck can have more than 1 mana symbol of the same cost as mana type. Not that much of a problem for us. We only play 8 cards that cost more than 1 mana symbol, and they fit the bill. So Jegantha the Wellspring is our companion. We do have access to that 5/5 in the late game if we want it. Outside of that, things you'd expect. Path of Exile for the creature decks, Relic for the graveyard decks, Blood Moon for Tron. Get out of here, Tron, as always. And Wear Tear, I love this one. This is a really neat split card you have access to. So 1-drop Tribal, everybody. Is this the way to play Burn in Modern right now with everybody doing all these crazy things? Go faster, faster, faster. No Goblin Guides even. Just burn to the face with these 1-drops here in Modern. So this is going to be an interesting one. Shout out to M. Hayashi for the list. Now let's see what it can do here on Mining Modern. Everybody, I'm Corbin Hosler. Let's jump into the games. All right, here we go with 1-drop Tribal. We will reveal Jegantha to be our companion. I believe we're on the draw here. And 1-drop Tribal, all you need is 1 land, right? There is our land. I mean, look at that. 1 land, 6 cards that be cast for 1 mana. It's just a snap keep, too. That's the best part of this hand. It's just an auto keep. We get to go Soul-Scar Mage on turn 1. We had the Bomat Courier after that. The Light Up the Sage. Hopefully find us some more lands. And then all the burn you could want. So if you want to go fast in Modern, we're going fast in Modern. And I'll tell you what. I know there's a lot of people out there who watch the series every week. Of course, thank you to everybody who watches every week. But I know some of you out there are sad because I tend to play aggro decks and a lot of control decks. And I'm going to be honest. I do tend to lean towards aggro decks. They more fit my playstyle. I think that they honestly, they kind of make for more interesting gameplay videos. So there is that. But I know that there are control fans out there. I will do my best to pick up a control deck in the coming weeks here. Meanwhile, our opponent, deep in the tank with Inquisition Kozilek, ends up taking the Soul-Scar Mage. That makes sense. Looks like they mulliganed, by the way. That doesn't hurt. There's a land for us. But I don't really care. Ooh, excuse me. I don't really care that they know we have this land. I'm showing it to them when I don't have to. But that's fine. We'll just play it anyways. That way we don't have to deal 2 damage to ourselves if we're playing against Jund or something like that that would conceivably want to race. In a scenario where we're trying to get in there, we're trying to burn them off, and they're trying to hit us with a Goyf. I don't really want to take the extra damage just for the purposes of hiding a card in our hand that we're going to play on turn 2 anyways. Meanwhile, our opponent bobbling and fetching, maybe some kind of Death Shadow deck more than Jund here. Yep, there's a green, so Traverse Shadow, I assume, over there. Fair enough. There's a bolt on our... Alright, that's fine. What was our face down card? Oh, I don't get a no. Okay. Bomat Courier is a cool card. I like it. Well, everybody, do you think we're going to... 18 points of burn does sound like a lot. That said, we have access to 8 in our hand already. Just saying. But I'm going to go ahead and... I guess the Lava Dart's the worst one here. We'll Lava Dart him. I'm just trying to play my Light Up the Stage this turn. Cast it with Spectacle. That way we have access to these cards next turn, I suppose. If we're trying to get to 18 points of burn, and keep in mind our opponent playing Death Shadow, it's a real concern for them because in order to even get the Death Shadow to be threatening, say a 7/7 and 8/8, something like that, if that's what they were to do, they have to get to that 10 life range, at which point we can just try to burn them out. Instead, though, perhaps it is Jund, my opponent, with the Wrenn 6 here, so most concerned about any life gain they might find, scavenging ooze, that sort of thing, but I honestly think the plan is just to go face with all this burn. I don't see any other way in which we can win, frankly, so it's that, or, I mean, I could go after the Wrenn 6. I just, as crazy as it sounds, I think that our path to winning this game is going to be to try to burn our opponent out. I think that that's just the way it's going to be. And it's not that unreasonable. We have half their life total now. This actually makes it, so we're only 2 lightning bolts short, if you look at it that way. We have, and we have the lava darts in the graveyard. That's a couple more. It doesn't take that much for us to get there. To be honest, if our opponent has a Scavenging Ooze and a way to gain life, well, that's bad for us, but also so is Liliana, frankly. I have to pitch the Firebolt here, but in the long term, I think we're going to have a shot to win this game. I think we will. I honestly think we will. It's going to be close, I think, just because we're just going to... Our deck is full of things that can go straight to our opponent's face. That's what we're going to try to do. Honestly, this is one of those games where we could possibly even beat a Liliana Ultimate. Because all we need is a land or two, right? I mean, I say that. Look, we still have a ridiculously long way to go here. I recognize that. A little awkward is I do want to make my land drops because I want to have 5 for these Firebolt in our graveyard. So I guess that means we just pop this, send this at our opponent's face. They are doing us a little bit of work here, just constantly fetching every turn. You know, they are slightly improving their draw step along the way, but every point of damage matters. And unfortunately for us, that Raging Ravine is pretty good. This one's hard to beat. Like I said, it's just going to be a question of whether or not we can find enough burn before the game ends to go the, you know, those last couple points of damage to our opponent before they're able to just kill us. So we will Lightning Bolt. I mean, all our cards are on the table now. Lightning Bolt you down to 9. Liliana resolves. Ideally, is I guess odd to say, but ideally I'd actually hit the land here to flash back the Firebolt because oh well, that's that one's a problem. I almost have to. I mean, I literally do. This has lifelink. In addition to just being a pretty silly card on its own, Lurrus has lifelink. So unfortunately, I have to throw the Seal of Fire at it, and that honestly that makes it a lot less likely for us to win the game. We were going to need every point, and this sets us back. But at the same time, I can't ignore it. So we'll see what happens. Let's see what the draw step is. Our opponent's going to bobble us here. We hit a Burst Lightning. All right. Well, not exactly where... I mean, if we had one more mana, it'd be great. Liliana's going to ultimate us next turn. I can beat a Liliana ultimate, honestly. The thing is, they have one card in hand. This still just puts them to 7. What I have to read Retrace 1 second here. You have to discard a land card. So they don't have extra cards floating around in their hand. They're going to try to kill us with this Raging Ravine. That is going to be their plan. It might work because that thing's going to kill us in what? It hits for 4, then it hits for 5, then it hits for 6. So what is that? 4 and 5 is 9 and 6 is 15. That's 15 damage. We fetch down to 17. It actually doesn't kill us. And they didn't even... Okay. So we might be able to race it. Because look, we put them down to 7 with the Burst Lightning. Hopefully hit a land to put them down to 5 with the Firebolt. Then we're just one... We're literally just one a Lightning Bolt away at that point. Because we have 2 Lava Darts in our graveyard. That's 2 points of damage. So we're 1 card away. In you know, one manner of looking at it anyways. But we could legitimately beat this Liliana Ultimate right now. I say that, of course. My opponent does have 3 cards in hand. They get to play good cards, too, and there's a Liliana Ultimate coming down the pipe here. And, if we can't flash back the Firebolt, well, that makes the whole plan a lot worse if we don't hit land. Although, I guess if we don't hit land, we'll do something that impacts the board one way or another. This is the Bloodbraid Elf. This is... Bloodbraid Elf would be a problem. Bloodbraid Elf into a giant Tarmogoyf. They fire up the Ravine next turn. They might just be able to kill us in 2 turns, which is going to be faster than we can deal with anything. In fact, just Kroxa-ing us is pretty good too. We are going to take 3 damage from that. Alright, well that puts us down to 15. 4, 10, 12. I still only count 12 from their side. I think we have to draw perfectly here. But we can go land, Firebolt, put them down to 5, then Bolt. So, yep. I said 3 or 4 turns ago it was going to be close, and this is it. What do we hit? Not a creature, I guess. Literally anything but a creature, I think, gave us a good shot here. Those were the worst draws. Because now now we're dead. We had a very narrow line to winning. I think it involved hitting a land or a burn spell there, putting our opponent down. I don't know that we're going to make it because now our opponent's going to go ahead and ultimate the Rin 6. But we're going to get blown out basically here in the end with our Kroxa emblem from Rin 6, Liliana ultimate. But frankly, we could have beaten this if we had drawn just a little better. Now I don't think we can. We go down to 9, and then we're just dead now. We had to draw the right outs and the exact right number of cards, and any miss was going to kill us. And frankly, we had pretty good hit. Any bolt, any land. Instead, we hit a Soul-Scar Mage. It didn't quite work out in that one, so I think it's off to the sideboarded games here, but my opponent is going to make us sweat it. They didn't even go for the Liliana ultimate, but that doesn't change anything because if they play right, oh gosh, this is when it attacks too. We're actually just dead. Whether they play right or not, the Kroxa gonna hit us for 9, so that's a pretty good one against us. So maybe we will do something different, like play some Blood Moons, maybe. And I guess the relics, yeah. I mean, look, that game was super close. It didn't work out for us. That's too bad, but and frankly, that's not incredibly shocking either. It's just the way it goes. It was always going to be close, and they were able to get out of it, and we weren't. So we'll give something like this a shot. Just kind of cut some random stuff here. We got our Graveyard Hate, the Relic Cycle. We got the Blood Moons, so hopefully we can cheese them out once once in these next couple games. Never quite got to our Jegantha mana there, but hey, we had outs. Didn't work out, but they were there. So I will designate Jegantha as our companion, and we're off to game 2 here, where, again, we have 1 land and 6 1-drops. I love it! I love it! Alright, this time, though, we get to be on the play. We obviously, I think, would have won that game on the play. Last game would have gone much differently for us, and now we have access to this Monastery Swiftspear. Not going to need any of the white mana this game. And next time we'll throw the Bomat Courier into the mix here, and I guess just see where we go. I mean, we want to just get in as much damage as we can with these early creatures, and then hopefully be able to burn our opponent out. So, you know, we'll see if they're sitting on Fatal Push or something like that over there. I was gonna say I really wouldn't hate hitting a land, and hit a land we did. Makes things just a little easier. Alright, is there a Fatal Push for my opponent? Wow, I really thought they were going to have it there. Okay, so things I can play the Relic, or I can keep up removal. I think we're probably okay to play the Relic, in which case, I don't know, you could argue I'm supposed to play it main phase. On the other hand, they could just push this, and then I'd want to hold one of these up. So I don't know, but that is something to look. You know, in some ways, if you just look at what we're doing straight to their face, and it's possible that's how you're supposed to play this deck, is always go face, well then I should have just gone for the Relic main phase 1, whether they had removal or not. So I guess if we lose this game by 1 point, I'll know why. Alright, so we're going to grab this Overgrown Tomb. Okay, well we've got him at 16, and we have a couple creatures in play here. They're going to shock. Alright, I like the way this one's going much more, so the Rin 6 again. I don't actually care about the Rin 6. It's going to kill our Bomat Courier, but Outside of that, it's honestly not that big of a problem. Let's go ahead and make them exile card from their graveyard. I will send a... I do think I'll send the Monastery Swiftspear at it, because why not? I can even do it without wasting too much damage, because I can play the Seal of Fire like this, get in at the Wrenn and 6. Now, if our opponent follows up with Liliana, we're going to be in trouble, but, I mean, frankly, if your opponent goes Wrenn and 6 into Liliana, you're kind of always in trouble, right? When you, especially when that Wrenn and 6 gets to ping us. I mean, it's not like we could do much more. We've played our cards out. We can, you know, we're not just dead to Liliana here, but it is pretty devastating to take our Swiftspear away, I think. We're not going to have the burn to get there. Just a Goyf, though. Tarmogoyf, super beatable, as a matter of fact. Alright, grab our land here. Couple different ways to go about this. Here's the one I think I like. I think I like Lava Darting the Goyf. Maybe. I want to Lava Dart the Goyf and then pop the Relic so that the Goyf will go away. At which point we get to hit our opponent for 2. You know, I think that's worth it, even though we kind of lose the back half of the Lava Dart. I think it's probably okay. You know, if I think my opponent doesn't have anything, then I could crack the Relic in response to it. But then they could let the Relic resolve. Then you Fatal Push us or something like that. Lightning Bolt us. And then the Tarmogoyf would survive. So this is actually the only way to do it. And that's even... If I'm understanding it right, we actually need the Lava Dart to be exiled, or the whole line doesn't even work. So, let's see if I did it correctly. In theory, this actually cannot be stopped by then, because at some point this Relic ability will resolve and it'll go away no matter what. And, fortunately, it's exactly what happened. So let's go ahead and Lava Dart them again. And honestly, I think I might... Oh, they do have the Fatal Push. They had it all along. I guess we'll still Lava Dart them. Okay, well, here we go. We're kind of back in the same spot we were last game. We have 5 damage in our hand, 2 more on board. That's 7. We're 2 lightning bolts away. I guess with this, we're 5 points away from getting there right now, but they always have the Liliana. And it's so rough, because if I point burn at the Liliana with the lightning bolt and the Seal of Fire, I'll take it out, but I think we lose the game anyways at that point. I actually just think it's correct to always ignore Liliana when you're playing this deck, because it just doesn't matter that much to your gameplay. And that said, if you get a free roll of Swiftspear to try to take it out, I think that you do. Now I can use the lightning bolt. Wait. The wheels are turning, everybody. The wheels are turning. I can lightning bolt them. I'll make this a 2. I can then Lava Dart the Liliana. Making this a... Yeah, we can do everything here. And by everything, I mean, well, we can at least do this. Alright, we'll bolt them. You know, I am giving up on the ability to flash this Firebolt back anytime soon. That said, I think it's probably worth it. This is a rare opportunity we get to actually remove the Liliana from play here. Only opportunity we're going to get, as a matter of fact. And our opponent, discarding an Assassin's Trophy, they have 2 cards in hand. And now they don't have the Liliana that they set up for. So if they don't have removal for this Monastery Swiftspear here, and we can get in another shot, we might be in business. I've had to burn more of my cards dealing with their board than I would like, but this game is not over by any means. Alright, well, it's a K command to return the Tarmogoyf and kill the Swiftspear. Unfortunately for us, that's pretty good. And it's a 5/6 Goyf, of course. It's never small. Never small. That's how the card works, as it turns out. Alright, let's see what we hit. We're just hoping to go Lightning Bolt, Lightning Bolt. I don't know if that's good enough, though. We only have 8 points of damage. And there's a Lightning Bolt. Never going to be able to flash this thing back. But honestly, if we'd played toward flashing it back, we would have lost anyways. We're not going to win this game getting to 5 mana, I think. So, I don't know. This is 5 points. Maybe our opponent will do something silly and fetch, or they'll just... a great draw for them. They got the double goif, so... we rip a Relic, we're in great shape. Otherwise, we're just dead next turn. So, let's see what happens here. I suppose the Bolt doesn't matter. It's basically Relic or bust for us here. So, that or we get to end... frustrated with them at 8 life or at 1 life. So here we go. Let's see what happens. Not a Relic, unfortunately, and unfortunately these Tarmogoyfs are huge. So really close match there, honestly, against Jund. We almost got there both games. Both games come down to just a couple points. One spell, one way or another, one draw. That's the way it goes. But that was a fun match. Let's see if we can take down the next one. Trying out 1-drop red here. We will designate Jegantha as our companion, and I guess this is a hazard you play when you run into when you play this deck. We have no lands. We have to ship that one. This one we can keep though. And this hand looks all right. I think I can get behind this hand. Throwing away that 3rd land really doesn't mean much anyways. That 3rd land is almost a mulligan in this deck, outside of, I guess, hard casting Light Up the Stage or flashing back Firebolt, something like that. But frankly, on the play with this hand here, I'm not sad at all. Soul-Scar Mage, Monastery Swiftspear plus the Seal of Fire. We can hit for quite a bit on turn 2 while even clearing out a bird or something like that if that's the route they were to go. So this is a nice hand. And then we got even the Abbot to follow up. Instead, our opponent's just going to Serum Vision, so it's going to be off to the races here. We don't know what they're up to, but I know that I'm going to try to kill them before they get to whatever they're going to here. So they went bottom, by the way, with that. I think that's probably just great for us. And now we got to add the Bomat Courier to the field as well. So setting up for a longer game, getting to get some resources back out from underneath the Bomat Courier, hopefully. And in the meantime, getting in there with this, right? That's a hit for 3 on turn 2. And the Prowess show begins next turn, perhaps. I probably don't want to play the Abbot until I have a 3rd land. So probably just running out the Seal of Fire next turn. Let's see what our looks like our Esper opponent is up to over there. Oh, okay. Serum Visions, Esper, Pentad Prism. Ad nauseum, you don't say? Yeah, so our opponent almost certainly playing Ad nauseum over there. So they're going for the combo finish. In the meantime, let's just see what we can do here. If I play these two, I'm going to deal 3, 6, 7, 9, 11. I have 11 points now. We have a turn 4 kill lined up. It's probably good enough. It's probably just going to be what we're going to try to do here. Just take advantage of the fact that we won the dice roll and just get there. Down to 15 off the Firebolt. Here comes the Seal of Fire. And get in there. And we have the the Bomat Courier to reload at some point should we need to. All right. Well, this is huge. I mean, presenting the turn 4 lethal to our opponent there is a really big deal, I think, because it forces them to burn an Angel's Grace or something like that that they want to use to stay alive this turn. So, or they're going to have to play Phyrexian Unlife, and they're going to have to use a counter off the Pentad Prism. So, instead they just go for another Pentad Prism. They're going to have to use mana on those, because we are presenting lethal. Right? Oh no, we only have 6. Oof. We actually desperately... it's going to be okay, I think. We kind of desperately needed to hit something there with the Bomat Courier. Instead, in combat, I'm going to have to throw away the Bomat Courier here, looking for a Lightning Bolt. This will probably do it, though. We get a Lava Dart. We get to flash back the Lava Dart. That'll put them down to 7. Flashing it back, we'll put them down to 6. And that means the Soul-Scar Mage and the Swiftspear are lethal, so our opponent's going to have an Angel's Grace or a Fog or what have you here, or they're going to die. And they had it. There goes the Angel's Grace. So, okay, that makes sense. That'll put their life down to 1. And this is actually really rough for them. Seal of Fire doing some real work right now. Oh no, this has split second. Okay. Oh no, are we dead? I never got... I don't know if I mean, I guess maybe I could have done it in their upkeep. It really doesn't change anything. And they still just play the Angel's Grace. Wow, we actually died through this. That feels bad. I will not lie. That feels very bad. We had a great draw, and our opponent had both the defensive Angel's Grace and then the Angel's Grace to combo win while having the double Pentad Prism. That was very unfortunate. If you don't know, our opponent is going to cycle through their deck. They're eventually going to use 3 Simian Spirit Guides to exile Lightning Storm and kill us, or they're going to use Thassa's Oracle with Manamorphose to win the game, something like that. But that's what they do after drawing their deck with Ad Nauseam. Thanks to the Angel's Grace, they can't lose the game. So the Ad Nauseam means they lose life for each card they draw. It doesn't matter. They can go to negative 1,000. It's not going to make a difference. So that was unfortunate. I have to say that was tragic, frankly. That was our turn 3. So we were going to kill them on turn. Does that mean did we win that dice? They might have actually won the game on turn 3. Wow. Turn 2 Prism, turn 3 Prism. Maybe I messed up. I don't know, but either way, props to them. That was a great game. Onto the sideboard though. I guess we just Blood Moon them, right? Man, the thing is these decks, and they have Lotus Blooms and stuff. The Blood Moon's not necessarily even that good. The Wear Tears are better. The thing is, and what's interesting is, this deck we're playing against, the Ad Nauseam deck, it sideboards into some crazy stuff that I've seen. They start playing 7-drop dragons and all kinds of nuts stuff. I can't believe we lost that game, though. We had a great hand. I thought after that clutch Bomat Courier play where I take the Bomat Courier in combat, put the card underneath it, then sack it, do things in combat at instant speed. I was feeling so good about how we were going to win that game, and then we did not win that game. All right, let's see if this one goes any better, though. We've got a similar opening here. Soul-Scar Mage into Bomat Courier. Again, just one land, but... Okay. Okay, well, we do have the Wear Tears on our deck. Not ideal, obviously, that our opponent just had it, but... you know, hopefully they kept a poor hand because of this Leyline of Sanctity here. That means all these Seal Fires and Lightning Bolts and, you know, basically most of our deck can't go at their face. Now, we can still point it at ourselves, or we can point it at our creatures. There are ways to still get prowess triggers without being able to burn your opponent out, but our only hope, I think, is that they kept a weak hand because of the Leyline of Sanctity, and we can go deep on a Bomat Courier, and this is rough, not having the land. You know, last game, we lost despite having everything we wanted, and that doesn't bode well when your opponent has the Lotus Bloom and the Leyline, and we miss our second land drop. So this one might be a bit of a downer here. That's the way it goes. All right, well, it's not a land, but you know what? It does attack. Let's do it. Attack with all creatures. Got all kinds of cards underneath these Bomat Couriers, though. If we were playing a long game, this would really matter. Maybe our opponent won't have it, I guess. That Lotus Bloom comes off suspend, what, 2 turns from now? Next turn. So they are, in fact, well and truly set up for another turn 4 win. And what's crazy is we actually kind of had the cards to beat the Leyline of Sanctity this game. The Monastery Swiftspear, everything else. We had an opportunity to steal this game out from underneath that Leyline. If they didn't have a great draw, or if they don't have a great draw, I guess we'll see what happens there. But let's cast with Spectacle here. Got him down to 11. All right, those cards don't do anything. So, all right, well, guess we'll find out if our opponent has it. Here comes the Lotus Bloom, comes off suspend. They have the Prism. I mean, this is one of those games where you just say, if they have it, you throw your hands up in the air and say, every deck of Modern is good. And the Leyline of Sanctity, Lotus Bloom, Pentad Prism hand is literally as perfect as it gets for them if they turn that into a win. But playing the Serum Visions in a tap land here, they might not have it. We might be live. Now, I say that, I don't think we can kill them next turn, so... Oh my gosh, Bantu's Lost Reckoning. Okay. Our creatures are dead and our opponent's land zone on tap next turn. Now, you know, honestly, it's not even... if this is the way this game is going, it's not the end of the world. Yep. I should have fetched that Sacred Foundry on turn 1, though. That might get us. Well, this turn we're playing these. We'll see what happens next turn. Get on in there again. All right, well, let's see what they've got working with here. Their land sit on tap. I mean, we're going to get this turn. What can we do with it? That's the question. Sunbaked Canyon. There we go. So now we have some options. I could use this for a lot of stuff. I mean, I guess they have enough mana. There's no point using it on the Lotus Bloom. Can I win the game? I think I might be able to kill them. They are representing an Angel's Grace. I guess we move to combat first. We might be able to pull this off. All right, we'll cast. Which one is? I could fuse them. Yeah, I could just pay 3 mana and destroy the Lotus Bloom and the Leyline of Sanctity, but I don't think that's what we want to do. I think we want to cast Tear, as it were, on the Leyline. That'll trigger Prowess. All right, this might have turned around for us here. You know, I lamented the way things went down in Game 1, but we might get paid off here in Game 2 because that was a great draw from us, hitting the Wear of Terror and then hitting the land for it after our opponent wiped to the board. And now we're coming in for lethal. Did we do it? They have the Angel's Grace. All right. They've got the Angel's Grace. So they're down to 1. That said, though, they have 1 card in hand. So the only way we lose is if they had a bunch of Angel's Graces. They clearly didn't have the Ad Nauseam. We did it, everybody. They kept a hand that didn't have everything because of the Leyline, and we were able to do it. Now, I have 3 of these. Do I want all 4? Frankly, I probably do. Now, what's our worst burn spells here? Probably like the Firebolt. It only deals 2 damage. Well, I guess Firebolt might actually be better than Burst Lightning. They're pretty similar, but Firebolt might be better. We'll give this a shot. That Wear Tear came in handy. I knew they would. You know, sometimes you think about just hitting the Lotus Bloom in their upkeep when they cast it, so that they can't cast it in their main phase. Should they, you know, need it in their main phase? But the Ad Nauseam deck can actually win at instant speed sometimes. I say that these versions now with Thassa's Oracle, maybe they're a little less adept at going off at instant speed than the older builds of the deck were. But either way, it is still a threat. Now, let's see if we can take a game 3 off of them here. Maybe we'll cast. I guess that's the achievement unlocked if we ever actually cast Jegantha. It's just kind of a free roll. This hand, y'all. If I keep this hand and our opponent has a Leyline, we're going to lose. That said, it's pretty hard to beat our opponent. Oh my gosh. I don't know. Our opponent is probably going to win the games where they have Leyline. I think that's the best way to put it. That said, this hand has just nothing. And with the 3 lands, I guess we could say it's a mulligan already. I'm going to ship it. This isn't really any better, and that's the problem here, because now I have to throw one of these back, and I guess what I throw back is probably the Seal of Fire. Mulliganing... Oh my gosh. I was going to say mulliganing twice. Neither hand having a creature or one of the 4 Wear Tears feels a little unfortunate for us, as our opponent just obviously opens up on Leyline again without mulliganing. So, sometimes it's just not your night, right? That's the way it goes. So, plenty of mana, though. Not a castable spell, but plenty of mana to spend nothing on. Or to spend on nothing, rather. Let's see if our opponent has it. They didn't have... It's just so sad. They didn't have the... they didn't have the Lotus Bloom this game, either. So, the door was wide open if we had an aggro start to try to get in there and do something about it, and instead I actually think I took what was a disciplined mulligan there. Didn't quite work out. Our opponent at least has shown off all these cool Seer Vision ARPs, though. It's Cycle of Sunbaked Canyon. It's basically where we're at. No point doing it quite yet, but that's that. Oh, they did have the Lotus Bloom. Did I miss that? Oh, they just had it last turn. The turn 2 Lotus Bloom. So, good for them. Either way, I think it is safe to say that we are quite dead. It's a Phyrexian Unlife from our opponent. So, Soul-Scar Mage, I guess, is the first step. It's a creature. Now maybe a Wear Tear. Oh. All right, well, it's interesting. We're actually kind of in a similar spot to where we were last game, where we have some creatures, and now we're just looking for an answer to finish it off. I don't know if we're going to get there, though. This card is extremely good, especially when I misclick through my attack step there. But you don't lose the game for having 0 life or less. As long as you have 0 or less life, all damage dealt to you as though it had effect. So the way this works is it's not you attack, if say they're at 5 and you attack for 15. It's not like they take 5 damage and 10 infect. They go to 0 because your attack puts them to 0. The next time they take damage, they start taking infect damage. So it's even better than it looks, and it looks pretty good. So, all right, let's see what we can do with this. Let's see what we can do with a couple prowess creatures here. Start things off with a Seal of Fire. I'm going to get a big hit in here. That I am going to do. It's interesting, these lava darts, we're throwing them at our own creature. They actually represent, by doing this, we're actually kind of getting 2 points. We're turning each of these into a 2-point burn spell. A shock to my opponent's face with the prowess triggers here. And the crazy thing is my opponent would actually just be dead if it wasn't for all of these things. But we could hit him for quite a bit. We could have flashed those back, got another. These things could have been, these things could have had 6 power each. You can see the explosiveness of our deck. Not quite coming out here against Infect as the Lotus Bloom enters play. But hey, we had a good run. Yep, that'll do it. GG's ad nauseum. We got close. We took a game. We just couldn't quite finish it off. Didn't draw our sideboard cards. And they did. Good games. Start things off with our Jegantha. Let's jump into the game here. No lands in this one. That is an occupational hazard when playing the mono 1-drop deck. We'll ship it. And I guess we'll keep this one lander. So that's a lot of burn spells. I guess I'll throw back the Seal of Fire. Probably the worst one here. No creatures to lead things off with. We are on the draw as well. Let's see what Cavern of Souls is naming here. Is it human by chance? It's giant. All right, our opponent playing Amulet Titan. Well, it's a race, and the good news, at least, is that come the second game, we have access to Wear Tear. Pretty good one against them. So, drew another Seal of Fire, Scrybug. It's not a thing. Just kidding. Scrybug was the old joke about Magic Online. You always the card that you scried to the bottom of the next one you drew. In this case, the card that we placed on the bottom is the one that we drew. All right, guess if our opponent's only untapping a Breeding Pool with the Amulet of Vigor, it's not yet dire. I'd love to hit a, well, I'd say a creature. I would have liked to land a little more. We got to start by doing this and going for the light up the stage. Hope to hit a land and play the Bomat. This is certainly a plan. We'll begin the attacks. The difference is just night and day between when this deck, I think, probably when it has a 1-drop attacker and when it doesn't. And Bomat does a lot of things that other 1-drops don't, but one of those things it does not do is kill your opponent particularly quickly. And against Amulet Titan, we are interested in speed, not late game card draw. So we're getting a little wrecked here by the Dryad of Elysian Grows. Card's basically unbeatable. All right, let's see what we can do here. Lots of Burst Lightnings. I guess it's going to be the line. Well, 1 Burst Lightning at that thing, 2 Burst Lightning at that thing, and I guess see where things go from there. Swing for 1. Hope our opponent doesn't have a Primeval Titan waiting in the wings. Alright, they got access to 5 mana here. That's not quite Tide mana. Fierce Empath, though. It's a neat one. Let me search a library with a creature card CMC 6 or greater. Is this actually a new addition to Modern? The Fierce Empath? Might be, honestly. Soul-Scar Mage, I guess. Well, I guess the plans are what the plans are. Let's hit. Is it just it's just too little, too late though. I imagine this puts our opponent all the way down to the low life total of 19. If they have a 6th land, I'm willing to pack it up. But they don't. They don't have a 6th land, and that's why you keep playing, everybody. Give me a land. Not a land. It is a Swiftspear, though. Let's play Seal of Fire. We're going to get in for some damage here. It's just going to... Is it going to be enough to just... am I going to get close enough to just be sad when we don't actually get there? Are we just getting teased? But, I mean, that puts them down to 14. We untap, we win. I think we'll have enough prowess triggers here. So, it's basically now or never, I think, for my opponent in terms of catching that Primeval Titan, unless they can interact with the board in some other way. This would be something if we were to pull this off against an Amulet Titan opponent that had Dryad, that had Amulet into Dryad into Fierce Impact for primetime, but they haven't played a 6th land yet. Kind of makes you think they don't have it. The question is, what do they have? And what could their hand look like? 5 cards in it if none of those cards are land. We know one is a Primeval Titan. It's not a handful of Primeval Titans. It could only be 4 of them. I don't know what they're looking at over there. All right, here we go. So they came to the same conclusion. So they're going to pact for a different creature here, just to work on the blocking plan. It's a Dryad of Elysian Grove. Okay. Oh, they actually do have the Primeval Titan? We were getting trolled all along? Is that how this is going here? I think my opponent, using this extra mana, might be able to play the Dryad of Elysian Groves, then replay the Gruul Turf, and also play the Primeval Titan. I think that might be what is going on here. Silly me over here thinking that they were doing math and trying to figure out how to not lose, when in reality, they were just figuring out exactly how much they wanted to win. Yeah, because this puts them down to 4 mana in the Gruul. Vesuva comes in as a copy of the Gruul Turf, and that's 6 mana. Good for them. Now, can we win through that? That's the question here. It's unlikely, I would say. They get a... My gosh, another Summoner's Pact. Yep. It's a prime time. Let's see what they get. They go to 13, and then they take 5, 7. My gosh. I'm just not quite close enough. Yeah, that'll give that. That's enough for me. I've seen enough here. On to the sideboard, where we get access to the Wear Tear and the Blood Moons. And honestly, the Path to Exiles if we want them. Every deck in Modern, we have these cards that are just great tempo plays, great sort of value cards, and just every deck in Modern these days feels like they're just going to kill you on turn 4. They're not going to interact. It's just silly to try to play cards that are good against removal because anyone playing removal is bad, right? That's just not where the format is. It's a very proactive place right now, unless you're playing basically the Arkham's Afterlife piles. It's split the format into such 2 extremes of this Cryptic Command Mystic Sanctuary super late game lock deck that grinds people out with Uros, or you have to play 31 drops. That seems to be basically where Modern is at these days. And it is what it is. I'm not saying it's good or bad. It is an interesting development, though. All right, we'll actually want more Light of Sage. I just don't want any of the Abbots, I think. Honestly, if I weren't for these 3 drops, I'd go down to 19 lands. All right, we'll just keep revealing this Jegantha. Maybe one day. All right, well, don't think we can keep it. Or, sorry, don't think we can mulligan it. I think you have to keep it. Go ahead and shock ourselves. I don't know if our life total matters that much, but I do have Wear Tear in here. And let's get in. The thing is, and this is crazy to say, and it's especially crazy to say when you're playing a basically mono red deck full of nothing but 1 drops, but Bomat Courier is too slow. Basically, it's a silly thing to say, but here we are. Oh, hitting a land though, that's actually a nice hit for me, because that means I can Lava Dart the Sakura Tribe Scout down, which is very important in its own right, but also still be aggressive with the Bomat Courier. So we'll get in for 2 here. Next turn, we get to untap into a couple of burn spells. Bomat Courier is not quite prowess creatures, but, you know, a fast enough start. And I can take this one out, too. We might be able to just empty our hand and then reload. I mean, Bomat Courier might not be too slow for this one if we can reload into a couple burn spells. So I would say the dream for our turn is probably just hitting a land. We'll Firebolt the Sacred Tribe Scout, bolt their face, Seal of Fire the board, attack for 2, and then the turn after that we get a reload with mana and Bomats. So hopefully find some more burn. Let's see what our opponent is up to over there. It looks like they're probably trying to figure out what they want to do with their land drop for the turn. That would certainly make sense. And it looks like the answer is just play Tolaria West. Okay. And look at that. Land off the top. Called it. I'm in. Alright. Firebolt your Sacred Tribe Scout. Play a Seal of Fire. I guess attack. I don't even need to bolt face quite yet here. And honestly, I guess if they were to play some kind of board wipe and just try to do it, I would just probably pop this, honestly, and take the 3 as opposed to the 1. And there you go. It's an Engineered Explosives X equals 1. Without a second untapped land, though, they're not going to be able to blow it up, and we're going to get another hit in. But there it is. Okay, so let's see if they do this main phase. Yeah, they do. All right, well, that's fine. I'll take my 3 unknown. We replaced our Lightning Bolt with some upside here. There's the Wear Tear. So we are down to just burn for what it's worth, but we have a decent amount of it, I guess. Access to Firebolt and Lava Dart out of our graveyard, so that's access to another 3. That said, they're at 13. That's still a lot of life, and we still have a little bit of ways to go here. Let's see what this play is. It's a Simic Growth Chamber. Picking up the Tolaria West to transmute the Tolaria West. Okay, nice play. To get a Pact of Negation. Sure. Well, let's bolt them. See if you want a Pact of Negation that. Probably not. I'll give you something to Pact of Negation. It's a Blood Moon. We're not doing anything else. We may as well get the card out of their hand. Oh, it resolved. Never mind. Did they not have another blue card to exile? Oh, Pact of Negation is not Force of Negation. Pact of Negation, they could have just gone for it. But they didn't. They even would have had the, it costs 5. They didn't have the 5. They only had 4. I understand. And now, friend, all you have are mountains. We've done it. We have Blood Mooned our opponent. There's our 5th mana. And now we begin the slow, painful process of grinding him out with flashback Firebolts. But hey, that puts him to 8. This bursts lightning, by the way, with 5 mana. We can pay the kicker. That means it'll do 4. This puts him to a virtual 4. The Lava Dart in our graveyard puts him to a virtual 3. So we're just a bolt away here by my math. By my highly precise calculations, we're pretty close. Mountain doesn't quite do it, though. You know, I don't know how they're going to get out from underneath this Blood Moon. So we've got all the time in the world, I think, to get there. But we do need to find that bolt. Got him at 4. Seal of Fire. That puts him at a virtual 1, I suppose. Worth noting, we cannot play the tear half of our Wear and Tear. We too only have red mana at the moment, but that'll do it. Our opponent did not beat us. We took it down. Sideboard plan worked to a T, as it turns out. What don't I want here? I mean, Firebolt, it might just be like Soul-Scar Mage on the draw. But I kind of think we want any prowess creature. It really is just the light up the stage, I think. That feels so bad, though. Maybe it's just a bolt. It's got to be like a Firebolt. I think I have to keep all the creatures. Even though they can be bad top decks late, I think we just have to try to find them early. We could have cast Jegantha that last game, by the way. We had better things to do, but we could have. And this is actually a pretty great hand, I think. We've got the Soul-Scar Mage on turn 1. We've got... Well, okay, rephrase. I've got the Wear Tear for this thing. Unless I think I can let him have a turn with it. I might be able to. I might be able to let him have a turn with that. I think I probably just have to risk it. I don't think we win the game where they have a hand that we have to tear that thing on turn 1. I think if that's what their hand is, we probably just aren't beating it. I think I have to play the Soul-Scar Mage, then try to tear it next turn, and hope that whatever they do this turn isn't quite so bad. Now, obviously, it's the worst possible thing for us. But this is what I'm saying, though. If I tear this thing on turn 1, my turn 1, on turn 2 they do nothing, I play this, I have a Bolt up, we still lose to this card. Right? We still don't beat it. And as it stands now, though, we got a shot here. I mean, my opponent didn't actually really do anything with their extra mana, and now we can take this thing out. Okay, so how to do that? I guess just like this. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Next turn, I could Wear Tear. I could use the Wear half to kill this and the Tear half to kill this. I mean, I don't think I have that option. I think I just have to go ahead and wear out the Amulet of Vigor, but it's good to know. Good to know. If a source would deal non-combat, so my opponent just gets a free block on this. I mean, look, here's the thing. This feels bad for us. And I mean, it feels bad for us because it is bad for us, but we've got a shot. This is going to buy us a little bit of time. We might even get to resolve a Blood Moon next turn, which would then lock them out to an extent. I think that this thing still works. I think that the Dryad of the Elysian Grove would actually override the Blood Moon. May not matter anyway, so they do have the basic forest here. We're going to play Blood Moon and find out, I guess. Dryad number 2. Pretty good blocker, won't lie. Alright, we've actually drawn a lot of lands here. I guess I slam the Blood Moon. I don't know if I can win the game, but slamming Blood Moon is probably a start. And we're just going to die to the Dryad of the Elysian Grove beatdown at this point. Well, here we go. We're actually a little bit flooded, and in a different world, I guess I would have had the opportunity to crack my Sunbaked Canyon before deploying the Blood Moon. I do not think we have that option, given my opponent has 3 land drops available to them between these. They're actually beating down, though. The Dryad of the Elysian Grove beatdown is strong. We're down to 9 now. We do have this going for us that the Lightning Bolt will basically put 3/-1 counters on one of them based on how it interacts with Soul-Scar Mage and the Lava Dart. So we're not actually in danger of dying here, per se. As a matter of fact, I could just decide to race. Right? I could actually just point 4 at my opponent and then 3. I could do 7. I could put my opponent down to 13. If I flash it back, I could actually put my opponent down to 11. We're almost winning the race at that point. Not quite, though. I think we just passed the turn. We're actually going to play defense with our Soul-Scar Mage here because our opponent straight missed the land drops. Not only are they Blood Mooned out here, they're actually just straight missed the land drops. So maybe we'll get lucky and they just don't make any land drops of any kind for a couple turns. Now, the problem for us is with that forest over there, they do have the ability to draw any kind of naturalized effect and get our Blood Moon. But in the meantime, I guess we're not getting beat down by a Dryad of the Elysian Grove, so it could always be worse. And we've taken there's 20 lands in our deck, and we've gone through the ones that are not in our deck. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's only 11 cards out of our 46. So we've got, what is that, like 77% chance to draw a spell here. Like, we're going to be drawing well for the rest of the game, whereas they're just trying to catch up. So let's just go ahead and start stacking some of it up, I guess. This one allows an attack, at least. I think. Oh, they're gonna double block? Well, this isn't good for... I would love for them to lock these blocks in. Wow, that's great for me. Okay, well, let's figure out how to do this. I think that we're gonna blow them out in combat here, and then... I mean, I don't know where we'll go as far as actually winning the game, but... all it takes is like one spell, right? I Lava Dart this one. That means we kill one of them. I Lightning Bolt the other one. I could kill both of them if I really wanted. Is that the play? Because aren't I just going to end up killing both of... I mean, they're going to block again next turn. I'm going to have to make the same play. I could Lava Dart take out one this turn, then Bolt to take out one the next turn. This is the only chance I think I have to take them both out. And then we just hope they stay Blood Mooned out of the game, and we keep attacking, we draw Burn, we finish them off. But they're just going to get to basically fog another combat step if I don't just do it now. So I think I just start by Lava Darting the first one. That's if I did my math here correctly anyways, but I believe this will put 1 damage onto this first one, so it's going to have 3 toughness. So now we get this one. So now if we bolt the other one, this one will have 1 toughness, and we'll have the additional prowess trigger. So we should actually get to destroy both of their Dryad of the Elysian Groves here, and our opponent has Force of Vigor. A pretty good one. Blood Moon ain't what... Blood Moon ain't what it used to be, friends. Well, I guess I'll send the Seal of Fire at them. Well, we're going to get to crack our Sunbaked Canyon. All is not lost. I tapped properly in this case. Frank... Oh, now that they have access to their mana, they just have an Aether Gust, so... They actually just have the worst possible thing for us. And, while we are not quite dead, we are pretty dead. This was, frankly, honestly kind of some frustrating matches. I mean, I can take this thing out. I got a 1-3 left. I mean, that's not going to kill us. But on turn 4, when you're at 9 and your Amulet opponent is at 18, something has gone awry. And I don't know if they're going to be able... Now they have 4 mana again. I think this one might be almost wrapped up. The Obstinate Baloth putting them up to 22. Yep, that'll do it. Ah, shit. These burn spells are just not getting it done. I can try to stay alive, which we're not getting there at this point. It's not going to happen. Well, that was a great match, though. It was very close. Good games. All right, here we go. Tribal 1-drops. I don't think this is quite what we're looking for. I think we probably want a creature to be involved in here somewhere, and here we go. This hand looks a little better. Got the creature. Got some burn. Got some prowess triggers for this thing. Just going to need to draw some non-lands here to take it down. So keep this one. We are on the... oh, we're on the play even. Okay, I like that. Throw that one to the bottom and see what we can do here. Play our Wooded Foothills. All right, Soul-Scar Mage hitting the battlefield. This is going to be able to crack in for some real damage over the next couple turns. We'll see what our opponent is up to. I mean, who knows? Maybe it's just going to get Fatal Pushed right off the bat. That would certainly be pretty good. Stomping Ground, huh? All right. Well, I would love to see him play a creature here. Experiment 1, actually. Okay. Honestly, that's one of the best cards I think that we could hope for. That's a card we can beat in Experiment 1 when we're on the play like this. This looks really nice for us, actually. I can play Seal of Fire. That'll trigger some prowess here. And I can Firebolt down the Experiment 1. All right, there you go. No board from our opponent. We get a swing for 3 after they bolted themselves, by the way, on turn 1. Keep that in mind. It could become quite relevant. So All right, let's see if they're going to do it again here on turn 2. They are. Wow. All of that for a Burning Tree Emissary. Okay, well, that makes sense. You can chain some stuff out with your Burning Tree here. Like a Wild Nikado, for instance, a 3/3. And they have a Bolt for ours. So there you go. I guess just like that, the board's been stabilized. We got him down to 12. And now I'm not so sure. We're going to get hit next turn. If I start pointing my burn at... I have 6 points of burn in my hand. That does half their life total, but I may have to start using it on their creatures here. I guess we take the first hit and see what happens. And we'll take 5, go to 13. Well, I guess that is what it is. Let's go ahead and fetch. I don't think we win the game by dealing with their creatures, but I basically think we have to top deck a couple bolts here to win. So, I mean, I guess that's kind of what we're going to play towards. Arid Mesa doesn't do it, so they come in for 7 next turn. That puts us to 5. I could send 6 at them, and then we die. All right, on to game 2, I suppose. Against Zoo here. Probably want a couple paths. Definitely, probably can cut some of this stuff. We'll get some removal in here. Cut down on some of the value stuff in the late game. Both decks are going very, very aggro here, so we'll see. See if we can be on the right end of the aggression this time around. That was a very quick game 1. I guess they're going a little deeper in Sideboard, and maybe they have all the answers over there. That is certainly a plan. All right, well. I think this is correct. Maybe we want the 4th in here. I mean, I'm just cut another Abbot, I suppose. The Abbots, I think, are decent, but they are kind of clunky. I just want to draw burn. I just want to draw some 1-drops and burn my opponent out, I think. So, I don't know what their sideboard looks like for mono red. I assume there's going to be core Firewalkers involved, which, I mean, frankly, are problematic, but hopefully we can just get in some quick damage and then have it not matter, or we'll draw a Path to Exile. Core Firewalker is the 2/2 white white creature. It's anti-red tech that you don't really see much anymore. But out of a Zoo deck, I'd probably expect it because it's a 2/2. It's a hate bear. It attacks. And then whenever a player casts a red spell, you gain a life and has protection from red. So if that's the one we have to run into, it's going to be pretty difficult to beat if they have it on turn 2. But hopefully we can just get out in front and then burn them out. This hand might do that. This hand has some 1-drops, does it not? 3 1-drops, a bunch of burn spells. This one might work out. Now, these aren't lightning bolts, so they're not actually going to be able to hit a Wild Nikado. They do get everything else. Lead things off with this Bomat, I suppose. Guess I should have technically fetched for the Sacred Foundry there. Might matter. Now, obviously, the dream for us is just hit land. If we get to go double Monastery Swiftspear next turn, then I get to Firebolt them. It's going to be a really big turn. So I suppose we'll see what happens here. And my opponent says they just took Bomat Courier out of their deck. Yeah, we'll see how it works out for me, I guess. All right, a Narnum Renegade, huh? It's a 2/3, is it? Well, that's a pretty good power toughness for it. And unfortunately, we did not hit our land, so I guess it's just play the Swiftspear, pass the turn. Yeah, this is the problems you run into. Sometimes you just open up 7s with 5 landers and you're forced to mulligan. And sometimes you're forced to keep 1 landers. And your opponent plays a 2/3 on turn 1. Have to say, a pretty solid turn 1 play, the old 1-mana 2/3. Because I actually beat a 1-mana. I could beat a 1-mana 2/2, which is supposed to be the bar. And look at that. They're going to be even so aggressive to attack with this? Well, that's good for me. Great for me, honestly. Because we are far behind here, and the Dragon's Claw... Look at that. That's nice, though. The Dragon's Claw is pretty annoying, frankly. Whenever a player casts a red spell, you gain a life. But I think we can actually beat it, for what it's worth. It's hard to beat, for sure, but I think we can. I'm going to attack for, I guess, just 3, but then I'm going to light up the second main phase. Hopefully I have access to some mana. Maybe some lightning bolts or something here. But it looks like this attack's going to connect. So the thing is, they actually get to gain life off of their own spells as well. They cast some number of red spells, I'm sure. Those are not lands, which I was kind of hoping to find, won't lie, but who knows? We may just, depending on what they do, if they keep being aggressive as they were, we can make these Swiftspears pretty big just by firing removal spells off at even 3/3 creatures and get in for a bunch of damage. And who knows, maybe even reload with the Bomat if we hit a land here. That might be the plan. Let's see what our opponent's up to. Honestly, if their anti-red tech is Dragon's Claw rather than something like Core Firewalker, which I guess could be a little difficult to cast in their deck at white costs, but Dragon's Claw seems much more beatable for us. I don't even think I want to bring in the wear tears for it. I think I just want to know that we have to value hands with creatures super highly, and really not much else. So, all right, my opponent going down to 12 off their shock. What's the line here? What's the play? It's a Wild Nicottle. Yeah. Pointing burn spells at creatures looking more and more appealing right now. Burning Tree. Let's see if they have the follow-up for it. I mean, their entire deck is creatures, so I assume that they do. Certainly they have a way to spend a red and a green mana here. But like I said, obviously this would be much better if we had a Lightning Bolt. These Firebolts, look, I'm sure they're working some matchups, and I understand what we're doing with the 1-drops here, but the 2 versus the 3 has been painful, but you also don't really want to send them upstairs. I don't know. That might be where we're at, though. It might be that it's 1 Firebolt at the Burning Tree Emissary, 1 Firebolt to the Dome, just to make the Monastery Swiftspears a big threat. That might be a legitimate way to play this game out. Our opponent is certainly deep in the tank. Wow, they are playing aggressive. Goblin Bushwhacker. Am I dead? I don't think I'm dead. Are they swinging with everything? Okay. This is an interesting line from them. But I guess it makes some amount of sense. If we hit a land here, I'm going to feel pretty good about where I'm going to feel okay about where we're at. So I guess fingers crossed. Oh, Lava Dart, not a land. Can we win, though? Lava Dart, I'm just going to do... No, probably not. Not with the Dragon's Claw. I could Lava Dart this and Firebolt it. I could take this out. These would be 3s. I'd be swinging for 7, and then I could flash it back and be swinging for 9. Plus this does 10. It's not enough, though. My opponent gained a lot of life in that process. So I guess we are pointing things at creatures. Lava Dart the Narnum Renegade. And we just hit... No, we just can't find lands even off the light of the stage. That's unfortunate. Alright, well. And then we'll Burst Lightning this thing. Oh, I guess I should Firebolt it. Well, in that case, I probably need to let this Lava Dart resolve. Alright, now we'll Firebolt it. Alright, let's figure out what kind of attacks I can make. That's where this game's at right now. We might be able to steal it. Not sure. I definitely swing in with these. The question is, do I come in with the other Monastery Swiftspear? And I think the answer is no. I think we want a blocker. Because I mean, realistically, I think what's going to happen here is the way we win the game is our opponent has almost nothing, but they swing in. We Lava Dart to kill the Bushwhacker. That gives us a block on the Burning Tree. We take 3. The next turn we can pop our Bomat for 4. That's certainly the line which, you know, might lead. That's, I think, how we could win the game from this point. I don't know if that's going to be good enough, but I think that's where we're at. Let's see what this is from them. Is it an Atarka's command? Sure is. Okay. Well, they're actually doing this, trying to give their creatures +1/+1 too early here. This actually allows me to take out the Reckless Bushwhacker when I wouldn't have been able to otherwise. So, I mean, we still lose our Swiftspear to the Burning Tree, but we do get that one off the field. Oh, and then I still just die. I take 4 to the Wild Nikadal. Can't catch a break. I'll tell you, everybody. Look, I'm going to say this. I don't do this very often, kind of provide post-match analysis or anything in terms of the deck. Nor, and this is something that I actually take kind of pride in, nor do I cherry-pick my games. However, I will tell you this. I've played a lot of games with this red deck today, and I cannot win games with this deck. So, you could consider this a Mighty Modern episode where I say, take this deck, there's something here. But maybe think about it a little bit and provide some tweaks. I think moving forward, I would be looking at turning this into sort of a red blitz deck and maybe changing up some of my 1-drops to be dealing 3 damage. I don't know what they would be necessarily, but Firebolt, for instance, just came back and got us time and time again by just being unable. We just couldn't cast it for the flashback. That means we're only getting 2 damage. We almost never got the back half of it. So what is the fact that there's a back half matter? At that point, I should just be playing Shard Volley. You know, I sacrifice a mountain, deal 3 damage to something. I think that might be where you're at with this deck moving forward. Because look, I tried to get some wins to show you on camera, and every game we come up 4, 5, 6 points short. So something needs to change with this deck, and I think it was a very worthwhile experiment. Look, at 5-0 to league, so clearly the deck has something to it, but there is, of course, some amount of variance, and obviously I think the pilot of the deck took it to a 5-0 finish is better than me. But if you like this sort of post-match analysis and sort of where you think things, where I think the deck can go moving forward, how to improve, let me know in the comments if this is something you like. Maybe I can formalize it a little more in the future. But in this case, everybody, I'm very sorry we couldn't pick up a win this week. I gave it a good old college try, and at some point I was like, look, this is the deck. If I can't win with the deck, I need to be honest with the viewers. I don't want to cherry pick it, make it look like it's better than it is, because that's not the best way to go about making content, in my opinion. So everybody, thank you so much for watching Mighty Modern. I'm Corbin Hosler. I'll see you next week.